He's not the villain we deserve, but he's the villain we need. Anime needed Toji Fushiguro, but why? What issue does he solve? What makes him different? You'll have to keep watching to find out. This might be the most excited I've been for a video I've made, simply because the more research I did, the more layers I peeled back on the Toji character, the more depth I found. That goes a long way towards explaining his importance to Jujutsu Kaisen and anime. Everything about this guy has meaning. Toji means extreme state of things, which perfectly fits how he's had to develop his body and senses due to his lack of cursed energy. Fushiguro means to hide, which fits his invisible man moniker. In fact, he hides from his familial duty better than Goku, which is no small feat. His drip isn't only combat ready, but it's cheap. We've seen the guy gamble. We know he's a broke boy. His weapons, such as the split soul katana and inverted spear of heaven, take inspiration from real weapons of history and potentially other manga like Bleach. But it doesn't stop there, it extends to his skill set. You can look at not having cursed energy in two ways. Sure, you might not have abilities, but it also makes you impossible to sense. By honing his physical abilities and senses to their peak, he's an invisible threat inside this world full of sorcerers. He's thought of everything. He discovered by hiding cursed objects inside his stomach, he can keep their presence from being detected. Who would even think of that? It also conceals all the different weapons he has at his disposal. That curse in his stomach has an abundance of potential meanings on its own. Is that implying that he's cursed to his core? Is the fact that it looks like an intestine a reference to him struggling to digest his existence? Or maybe it's simply an homage to Hunter x Hunter. The possibilities feel endless. Something I love about the Toji character is that he takes a common anime trope, the powerless individual in a world full of powered characters, and turns it on its head, deconstructing it completely. With a character like Asta or Mash or Will, they push themselves because they want to achieve lofty goals that prove society is wrong. Toji, on the other hand, believes society is right. He says it himself when he calls himself a monkey. Without cursed energy, he's no different from an animal in this world full of sorcerers, and that drives him crazy. The insecurity that he's less than leads to pretty much every action he takes in the show. With how common the powerless trope has gotten, this retelling and the depth that comes along with it opens up so many new possibilities for characters within that trope. And in that regard, you have to feel for the guy. He was born into one of the most powerful clans in the world. Imagine Draco Malfoy being born without magic and then having to grow up in that environment and see how warped his sense of self-worth and desire for approval is. The Zenin clan believes your worth is determined by your gifts, and Toji received none. He does, however, have what's called heavenly restriction, meaning that his lack of cursed energy has actually made his body physically superior to others. And in most shonen series, a character like that would use these abilities to prove everyone wrong, showing that they're worthy of being seen as an equal. However, growing up and being told you're nothing time and time again can psychologically warp you. And it's not only psychological trauma. How did Toji get that scar on his face? He was thrown into a disciplinary pit full of cursed spirits by, you guessed it, the Zenin clan. Despite this, he actually managed to get out from the clan relatively unscathed. He settled down, he ended up getting married, he had a son. He mellowed out and was content to live a normal life. Yet, his upbringing's impact never wavered. He named his son Megami, which means blessing. Is that in reference to him viewing his son as a blessing? Or is that him trying to will his son to be blessed in a way that he wasn't? Again, you can look at these things in so many different ways. Then his wife died and he dove right back into old habits, untethering himself from all commitments, including his son. It's sad because in a light Yagami kind of way, if not for one event, he probably would have lived a happy normal life, but it wasn't to be. So he partakes in self-destructive habits like gambling or being a mercenary because he truly believes he's worth less than others. Though something worth noting is he doesn't turn to substances, probably because this would hinder his ability to conduct his business, his insecurity does push him to be great. He'd never be the Invisible Man or Sorcerer Killer without this insatiable desire to feel worthy, but it's also what gets him killed. An interesting bit about his introduction in the series is you kind of get conflicting messages. Like, yeah, the words he says are nice. Sending assassins after Rico, Gojo, and Gato will wear them down, and putting a timeline on the bounty will eventually lower their defenses. That makes sense. But he also looks too lazy to really care about what happens, and he's not only gambling during these conversations, but losing every bet. In hindsight, this obviously ties into his self-destructive behavior, but I think there's another reason too. It creates doubt and uncertainty about what's going to happen. It not only lowers Gojo's guard, but also the viewers. So when he comes out of nowhere and stabs Gojo in the back, we're just as shocked as the cast. Think about it, they tell us this guy is unemployed. He's bad at remembering names, including that of his own son. He's eating and gambling in all of the build-up scenes we get of him. It's beautifully written to put us in the exact same position Gojo is in. Like his other powerless counterparts, Toji's efforts to perfect his physical capabilities are something to behold. His strength, speed, reaction time, and instincts are all trained to their peak. Growing up in the Zenin clan, he's privy to information most aren't, and takes full advantage of that. When he's hired to take out Rico, he's not only aware Gojo and Gato are protecting her, but that Gojo is the first of his kind in generations to have both the Six Eyes and the Limitless technique. In response, his tactics are nothing short of genius. And that's how a mere mortal like him is able to defeat a god like Satoru Gojo. This contract he puts out allows not only those who oppose Tengen to partake, but those who are pro-Tengen and don't want Rico to taint him via assimilation. It brings in assassins with all sorts of different motives. Yeah, they're fodder, but they are a constant presence, which ties into the next part of Toji's plan, the time limit of the bounty. We see how he uses this as a misdirection to make Gojo and Gato think that once the bounty is taken down, the hit is over, and when their guards are down, then he can swoop in. With his inner knowings from the Zenin clan, I'd be willing to bet that Toji knows exactly how long Gojo can reasonably use his technique, and based the length of the bounty on that, especially since Toji had seen Gojo as a kid and realized that Gojo was the only person who had ever noticed him from behind. This is also aided by the fact that he is everything Toji isn't. Gojo's the most gifted sorcerer alive and grew up cherished because of it. The envy Toji felt towards him is just another layer to everything going on. Toji's strategy works to perfection. Gojo overuses his technique and his senses are dulled. With his lack of cursed energy, Toji's able to break through the Jujutsu high barrier, sneak up right behind Gojo and stab him in the back. Something I haven't seen too many discuss about this fight is how Toji continuously keeps Gojo on his toes. The blade that goes through Gojo's back is a regular katana so that he wouldn't be detected. After Gato attacks him and he breaks free of that cursed spirit, he's wielding the split soul katana. Gojo notices that it's a different blade and realizes there are a lot of unknowns in this situation. When Gojo blasts him away, Toji immediately uses the surroundings as cover. When Gojo destroys those surroundings, Toji unleashes fly heads to shroud the area and give him more cover. Then when an attack doesn't come, Gojo thinks he may have fled to go after Rico, and that's when Toji strikes from behind, of course, with another weapon, the inverted Spear of Heaven. The entire fight is about misdirection and using the unknown against Gojo, and it works flawlessly. When he kills Rico, one of the most shocking and heartbreaking moments in the show, we actually get foreshadowing into his own death. He tells Gato it's over, she's gone, the job is done, and Gato refuses to walk away, which is exactly what happens with Toji later on. Also, the fact that he doesn't kill Gato because he doesn't want to risk cursed spirits becoming an issue for him later adds another level of appreciation to how far this guy thinks ahead. When Gojo returns, the writing is masterful. A light opens up from the sky and Gojo appears before Toji. He's not angry about what happened. In fact, he seems high. He takes a quote straight from Buddha saying, "Throughout heaven and earth, I alone am the honored one. On the surface, there was no reason for Toji to take on Gojo again. His job was done, he said he doesn't do jobs for free, and with his lack of cursed energy, he could have escaped. But this man, who refers to himself as a monkey, couldn't abandon his pride. This was an opportunity to prove his worth. The man without gifts taking down the most gifted of them all would be the ultimate validation for him and give his life meaning, which directly mirrors Sun Wukong versus Buddha from Journey to the West, and like Sun Wukong, his pride is his downfall. He's asked if he has any last words and responds, "Not really," then tells Gojo 2 to 3 years from now his kid will be sold to the Zenin clan and to do what he wants with that information. One of the coolest aspects of the character is that despite his brief appearance, without him, the show feels so much more hollow. Side villains who matter in the grand scheme of things seems like a lost art, and have been sorely lacking for some time now. His influence extends onto so many characters and makes them all so much more interesting. Obviously, he made individual momentary impacts as well, killing Rico, defeating Gojo, losing to Gojo, his epic return, his entrance in the Dagon battle, and his death in front of Megami are all some of the most memorable moments the series has, but it goes much deeper. Without Toji, Gojo being so overpowered feels far less interesting, but having him lose a fight to a man without cursed energy, who defeated him with strategy and manipulation, and the fact that it haunts him, adds so many layers to the character. It's incredible to me that because Toji wore him down and tracked him by his footsteps, Gojo essentially worked until he could use his ability indefinitely, and because of that, no longer leaves footsteps. I haven't read the manga, but I've heard that Gojo actually wears Toji's outfit for a fight, and that goes to show how much of an impact he had on him. Gato's entire downfall starts from the incident with Toji. This monkey, his words, not mine, killed Gato's client, nearly killed him and his friend, and then when they returned from their job, other monkeys applauded that, and that downward spiral led to him wanting to genocide the entire human race. His relationship with and impact on Megami is complicated but fascinating. We talked about how there were multiple interpretations for naming him Blessing, and the feelings he has for his son, I believe, are equally unclear. He tried selling his son to the Zenin clan because he knew with his gifts he'd be treated well. He also abandoned him and forgot who he was. People assume that Toji telling Gojo about his son was for the good of Megami, but he literally says, "Take that as you will." I don't think there is any way Toji could have predicted how Gojo would take that information, and I don't think that's a point in his favor. When he's resurrected, seeing his son's face allows him to truly take control of his host body and regain his senses. He's pleased to hear that Megami has his mother's name, Fushiguro, and not Zenin, and then he unalives himself so he's no longer a threat. So clearly Toji does care, but that doesn't absolve him. You can certainly debate whether Megami's life would be better off without him, but regardless, it seems clear his confidence issues stem from not having that father figure in his life. Like how Toji wrestles with his feelings regarding his son, I think we're meant to wrestle with our feelings about Toji as a father. Someone like Maki becomes vastly more interesting too, because her story mirrors his. They were both born to the Zenin clan lacking cursed energy. They both utilized their heavenly restrictions to the fullest. They both left the Zenin clan. Now we see both sides of the coin. With Toji, we saw how he let that experience consume him, where with Maki, she follows the more typical shonen route and wants to someday lead that clan. Because we see both sides, we think more highly of her, doing what he couldn't, and seeing what she could have been in another life. All this ties together into why anime needed Toji. He checks every box and is everything lacking in most modern anime villains. Being a complete deconstruction of an overexposed trope, his impact greatly enhances the series, as well as far outweighing his screen time, and simply being the most important part of that year's most popular anime. His legacy has been cemented, and I'm sure as time goes on, we're going to see that play out in more concrete ways. With that, I'm out.